and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our new stamp set, Make Lemonade. We're also going to be introducing its coordinating dies and coordinating coloring stencils. We also have a really cute Make Lemonade add-on here with its dies and coloring stencils too. And these sets together are so cute. It gives you more fun sentiments and that adorable cake to add into these sweet scenes. Then we're also going to be introducing our new lemon border, which is adorable and so perfect with those cute little lemonade mice. And then also our lemon vine border, which I love because you can add lemons and flowers or just flowers. There's so many things you can do with it. So first up, we're going to take a look at the Make Lemonade stamp set. It has this super cute lemonade stand, two little signs that say 25 cents a glass, and also fresh squeezed. And then all of these fun things. So it's got a little lemonade pitcher, a lemonade glass with a straw, one with a little lemon on the edge, this cute little cupcake because they could be selling cute little lemon treats in their lemonade stand too, and then some individual lemons in two different orientations so they're fun for adding into your scenes. We have a little crate full of lemons, which is just adorable, and a bag of sugar because you need that for your lemonade, right? And then here are our adorable little mice. So our adorable mice are added again. We have two that have little baseball hats, which I just love, and then two that are holding some different lemonade things. So we've got the cute lemonade glass and then also a pile of lemons. We also have some super cute little mini phrases. We have squeeze the day, one glass please, you're so sweet, which is so perfect for the lemonade. We have squeeze me, which makes me laugh. And then we also have you're the zest. Then we have some larger mix and match sentiments. So we have wishing you the zest, summer, or wishing you the zest, day. And so you can mix and match them depending on your card. And then you can also put the word ever at the end, which is so fun. We also have when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, which is so cute. And then also, sorry I was sour. Sometimes we need to make those kinds of cards. And so here you can see how adorable this set is. And now we're going to take a look at the Make Lemonade add-on. It has this super cute little cake with a lemon on top, and then some more fun phrases that you can use and mix and match with the phrases in the original set. So we have squeeze the day, you're the zest, we have life is sweeter with you, which is so adorable. And then we have a sweet. And then again, you can mix and match these. So have a sweet birthday. We also have an exclamation point that you can add onto your phrases. And then here you can see how it works with the other set. So you can see how you can mix and match the phrases. So you can have a sweet birthday or have a sweet summer or wishing you the zest birthday ever. Now it's time to add some color to these adorable images. And I'm using my Copic markers here, but you could use your favorite alcohol markers, colored pencils, you can use watercolors, you can use coloring stencils, which I'll be showing you in just a little bit. But I just love seeing these images come to life when you add the color to them. It's just so much fun. And right now I'm coloring in this adorable lemonade stand here in some E30 markers. And I love that this is the latest in our series of mice sets. Our mice are living their best life, and now they have this cute little lemonade stand. And what's so fun about all the mice is that you can mix and match them together. And Miles, my son here, is with me right now, and he had a great idea that you could also mix and match this with other of your favorite sets, any random sets in your stash. All of these mice can be mixed and matched together, so you could bring mice from another set into this one, like the guy with the overalls would be so cute, the one from Absolutely Awesome. But I also love that we have two mice that just have the baseball caps, so you could mix and match those guys with other sets. It doesn't necessarily have to be lemon themed with those guys, which is so much fun. I think these ones are just so adorable. You can see I'm adding some nice bright yellows to all of these images. And so once I had my yellow markers out, I thought I'm going to add yellow to all of the different things that are going to have yellow. So I added some to one of the little signs there, to the lemonade pitcher and the glasses and the little crate of lemons, which is one of my favorite images in this whole set. Then I'm going to add some bright greens onto this, and I'm coloring in the straw green too, so it all kind of matches. And then I thought a nice pop of pink would be adorable, like there was some pink frosting on that cute little lemon cupcake. Now I'm going to color in this adorable little bag of sugar. This could be a fun place to add a pop of color as well. And then we're going to start adding some color to the mice. And here you can see I'm starting with my dark, my medium, and then I go out to my light. And I just look for the curves of the stamp. So the curve of the arm, the curve of his back, and I'm going to add all my dark marker there, blend it out with my next one, and then I'll go to my next one, and then to my lightest marker. And you'll see just how cute these little guys turn out. I just love the mice. I like using E40s with them, but you could also use any of your other favorite browns, or also warm grays look really cute with these mice too. Another cute idea is that you can mix and match this set with our treat cart series. So you can mix and match it with those cute characters. And Miles had an idea that you could take these cute little mice and add them into with the treat cart and also with the lemons too. So I like that you could mix and match these two sets. Here I'm adding some pink into their ears and little rosy cheeks. And then I'm adding some color to the baseball caps. And I decided to do the same yellows and pinks that we did for the little accessories for the lemonade stand so that everything mixes and matches. But I like that those baseball caps are really fun way to add a pop of color onto your cards or maybe to match it to your pattern paper. And you can see how cute those guys are looking. I realized I forgot to color the bottom of that cute little cupcake, but now all of these images are colored and they're just so happy and fun and summery. And so now we're going to add some color to this cute little cake that comes in the add-on, and I'm using the same exact colors that I used for the cupcake. So we're using some pinks for the icing and browns for the cake, and then of course yellow and green for the lemon on top. Now these are the coordinating dies for the set. They already come separated, so all you need to do is line them up with your images, hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and you'll have perfectly cut out images every time. And here you can see all of the images from the lemonade set, and they are just so cute and so much fun to mix and match. You can add those cute little signs onto the lemonade stand, and then you can also give the cute little mice different lemon things to hold. So he's got his little lemonade glass. You can add the pitcher and the cup to the front of the lemonade stand and just kind of fill the lemonade stand with different items. Or you can also, of course, layer the cute little mice behind the lemonade stand too. So there you can see how cute it is without the mouse behind. I like adding the little lemon next to that mouse, like he dropped some lemons. Or of course, you can layer your little mice and have them be selling the lemonade from there. So there he's got his cute little lemonade things, and then this other little guy is waiting in line there to get his fresh squeezed lemonade. You can also create little side scenes without the lemonade stand. So you can have this cute little lemon theme, which feels so summery and so sweet. And I like that you can use them with or without the lemonade stand. And I love layering all of the little lemons around. I just think it looks so cute and so fun. And of course, you can have the guy holding the glass over by the stand. You can mix and match them in such cute ways. Or you could create a non-lemon themed card by using the cute little guys with their baseball caps. I think it would be fun to color the baseball caps in your favorite team's color and create like a fun baseball themed card. I think that would be adorable too. I also like adding the little sign there to the top of it. Now here's the coordinating die for the Make Lemonade add-on, and all you need to do is line this up with your stamped images, hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through your die cut machine, and you'll have perfectly cut out images every time. This cute little cake is so sweet, and it's so much fun to add into the lemonade stand, and that helps bring it into a birthday theme as well. So you could say wishing you the zest birthday ever with that cute little cake there, and I think it looks adorable in the stand, and the icing adds this fun pop of color. Next up, we have the coloring stencils for Make Lemonade, and this is a set of 3 stencils, and you can see it has etch guidelines that makes it really easy to line up with your stamped images. So you just need to look through the sets, find the image that you want to color. We're going to line that up, and here I'm going to take out some of my favorite inks. I'm going to be using some pizza crust ink for this cute little mouse. I'm lining up the stencil, and then I'm just bringing on the color. I start on the stencil and then move on off of the stencil onto the stamped image, and I'm making sure to have some of the color kind of gather on one side of the mouse and then kind of run off of the brush at the end to make it into this fun shaded look. For the belly, I added a little bit of pink and then a little bit of brown over it. And then we're going to add some pink here for the nose and the ear. And you can see how cute he's looking already. The coloring stencils are so much fun to use. It's a really fun way to color. It's really quick as well, which is awesome. And if you're not into markers, this is such a great way to add color into these fun images. Or even if you love markers, I think it's just so much fun. There's something about moving down the stencil that is just a blast. So you can kind of just keep shifting down and down and down and coloring it in each part of the image. Now next up we have the coloring stencil for the Make Lemonade add-on, and here you can see it's a set of 1. We always size our coloring stencils to be the same size as the stamp set, which makes it really easy to store. So the Make Lemonade add-on is a little mini, and this is a mini size stencil to match along with it. And just like before, we're going to use those etch guidelines in the stencil to help us line it up, and we're just going to work our way down the stencil doing the cake, the icing, the lemon, and then the little leaf. And I just love how gorgeous these turn out. Isn't that so fun? The color is so soft, and I just love this stencil look. Next, we're going to take a look at two brand new borders, and this is our lemon vine border. I just love this die so much. It's got the vine, the flowers, the flower centers, and then the lemons. So we're going to add a little bit of liquid glue with the glue tube to the center of each of these flowers, and then we're going to add those little flower centers to each of them. We did white flowers here, but you could of course do any color, which I just love. On the vine, you'll see there's these little circles, and that's where we're going to add either our lemons or our flowers. And one of the things that I love about this border is that you could do all lemons, you could do all flowers, or you can do a mix of them. And I love that because it makes this vine so useful. You can also have it across your card, you can have it coming down from your card, you can cut the vine apart to give like this cool kind of fun grove feel, which I'll do in just a little bit. And here you can see that we're mixing and matching the lemons and the flowers, just adding a drop of glue to each of those little centers on the vine, and then layering each of these cute little images. And I think this is just the most gorgeous vine ever. And again, I just love that you can use it in so many different ways. And so here is that finished vine, which is so pretty. And then here are the samples I talked about. So the top has the mixture of lemon and flowers. The middle has just flowers, which is so pretty. And the bottom has just lemons. And all of these are gorgeous and could look so amazing on different cards. Next up, we're going to take a look at the lemon border. And so we have the border here, and then we also have some lemons that you can layer on top or use on their own, and then also the pith of the lemon. And I just had to look up what the name of that was. So first we're going to start off by layering one of the lemons, and then here we have the lemon slice, and you'll see on this slice there's actually a little embossed detail that's going to show you exactly where to put that pith of the lemon. And so we have that one cut here out of some white cardstock, and we're going to add some liquid glue to that and then just layer that right on top, right at that embossed line. And doesn't that look so cute? Now the larger lemons, you don't necessarily have to layer something on them. What we did was we layered a lighter color of yellow cardstock so that there's a difference between the cut lemon and then like the actual uncut lemon, which I think is kind of cute. Or you could just leave it all one color and that looks amazing too. Here you can see that finished lemon border. It is so cute and it looks adorable on cards. It's also 6 inches long, so you can layer it on both a portrait and a landscape card, which is awesome. Now it's time to start creating some super cute lemonade theme cards, and we're going to be starting off with this brand new Giddy for Gingham paper, and there's a yellow and a green in this that is perfect to go along with our lemonade theme. So first we're going to cut this really pretty green gingham, and I'm using the largest of the outside in stitched rectangles, and so we're going to run that through the die cut machine, and this is going to eventually be our ground. I've also die cut some Watercolor Wishes paper from that same of the largest outside in stitched rectangles, that way these both match up to each other. Now I want to stamp my sentiment first before I start building my whole card. So I have my Make Lemonade stamp set here, and I'm going to mix and match all of these pieces. And I love these sentiments because they're all the same size rectangular base, so you can mix and match these fun different phrases. They have a natural cling, so if you line them up together, they just kind of cling together. You can pick it up with your block, and then you can go ahead and stamp on to your pattern paper. So I'm going to stamp in some black licorice ink here, and it's going to say wishing you the zest day ever, which is so super cute. Then I'm going to go ahead and just trim this piece down. It was a little bit too tall and I wanted it to be a little bit shorter so that it kind of felt like grass at the bottom of my card. Then we'll take some tape runner and add that to the piece, and then we can layer that onto this Watercolor Wishes piece that has that fun, beautiful watercolor texture that's really going to feel like a sky. Now next, I'm going to start building my Make Lemonade scene. So I'm going to take all of those images that we stamped and colored and die cut earlier so that I can create the cutest little scene with these guys. And I love making these scenes because I feel like you can tell like a little story with them and just kind of decide where everything's going to go. It's just so much fun. So I'm going to add the fresh squeeze there at the bottom of the lemonade stand. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to add some tape runner to the back of this so that it can hold my images in place. So I'm going to layer my cute little mouse here into the lemonade stand so it looks like he's selling lemonade. And I'm going to add the little picture there too, and that adhesive is going to help hold these in place. And then I'm going to layer some things in the front of the lemonade stand too, just so that it gives it some nice dimension. And then we can add some foam squares to the back of that fun little lemonade stand, and also to the back of my little mice that are going to be shopping at the lemonade stand. So we can peel up the liner paper on those pieces and then start to layer this onto the card. And here we have this cute little lemonade stand, which is just adorable. And then we're going to add this guy here who's bringing more lemons to his friends so they can make more more lemonade, and then this guy who has bought the lemonade, and it's just delicious. Isn't that so cute? And so here I'm going to take a white gel pen and just add some fun little details. I like to add little curves and then like a little dot after the curve. And I like to add little dots into their rosy cheeks. And there's something about these white gel pen details that just make everything pop and feel kind of three-dimensional. Sometimes it's kind of hard to know where to put the white gel pen lines. I'll kind of look for curves of the stamp or little edges to add them, or I'll also take a look at different design team members' cards and just copy what they did too. So that looks awesome as well. Now there is that lemon vine border, and here's the one that we made at the beginning of the video, and we're going to be using this on this card, but I'm actually going to trim it down so that it looks like a bunch of vines layering from the top of the card, and I love that I can get that look with just one of these here. So I'm going to take my scissors and just start cutting off pieces here. We're kind of like pruning our plant here and kind of trimming everything off so that we can layer these up top to create this like lemon tree grove kind of feeling. And so there you can see I cut off a piece that just has some greenery. I have some that have the lemons and then some that have the flowers. Now, as I started to layer these on the card, I wanted to add another lemon and kind of move the flowers around because they were lining up just a little bit too much. So I just ripped one off and then added a little more adhesive and layered another lemon on there. And then I realized that the flowers were kind of like in this diagonal line. And so I thought, let me just switch a lemon and a flower and move them around. So I kind of mix and match them depending on what's going to look good on the card. And it's really easy to do since there's those little circles that we layered everything on top of. So I decided to add a little bit of detail to these die cuts, and I love doing this to different colors of cardstock. I'm just taking a yellow marker that's about the same color and just adding a line at the bottom of each lemon and on this little yellow circles in the flowers, some warm gray marker, just a little line again onto the white petals, and then just a line of a green marker that kind of matches the color. And you'll see I'm just following the line, just one side of each image, and there's something about doing this that makes it feel so three-dimensional. It's so easy. There's no blending or anything. It's just one little swipe of a marker and it looks so gorgeous. And so now I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of these and start layering them onto the card. And I think this looks so pretty, and it's such a fun way to get a different look with the vines. You can see I'm layering some behind some of the pieces, and that's going to give it some fun dimension. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim off any of the excess vines that are sticking out of the top of this card. And then because we added some white gel pen details to the stamped images, I thought it would be fun to do the same thing with all of these die cuts. So I'm adding a little line to the edge of the leaves and everything, and I'm doing it where I didn't put the marker. So I'm just adding one side's kind of the white gel pen, and then the other side is my little swipe of marker. I'm adding little lines along the branches, along the lemons, and in the little flower centers too. And I think it just looks so pretty like that. Now next up we need to work on our card base, and so I'm bringing in that yellow gingham paper, and you can see that this paper has both a straight gingham and a diagonal one. I'm going to use the diagonal one there so that it's a little bit different than the straight up and down one that I used for the ground on the card. And then we're going to add some tape runner to the back of this whole panel and then layer that onto the card, and that pop of the yellow gingham all around the edges I think looks so pretty. And for one last finishing touch, I'm going to bring in our brand new Tiny Treasures clay pieces. These are brand new, they're so cute, and they're these little lemons. They're perfect for shaker cards, and they're perfect for adding little details on cards too. So I'm adding a drop of glue to the lemonade stand, and I'm going to add one of those cute little clay lemons right onto the stand. And there's something about this that I think is so adorable. It just adds this fun little three-dimensional texture that I think is so cute. And now this card is all done. I love the lemon die cuts. I love the little lemon clay piece. And of course, our little mice are so adorable and sweet. And this card just makes me smile. So now we are going to make another fun lemon themed card, and we're going to be taking out the Giddy for Gingham paper, but this time we're going to use the 6x6 pad, which has a little bit of a smaller design. It's about 50% reduced, and we're going to be using that for this card. And so here we have this really pretty blue paper that's included in this set, and we're going to be creating a window to make a shaker card because I want to use those little lemon pieces in a shaker card. So here is my largest of my stitch rectangles. It's 5.5 by 4.25, and then here is this really fun Winter Wonderland window, and I love it because it's got this great little arched piece that can be used without the snowflakes, and so we're going to be using that to create our window here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer these two pieces at the same time. That way I can center them just perfectly, and then I can hold it in place with some low tack tape. And you'll see that I'm going to have a kind of bigger area towards the bottom that I know that's where I'm going to put my sentiment, and then I'm going to have this fun window in the middle to create my scene and my shaker. So now that I have my window, I wanted to create some grass. So I have a piece of paper here that's 4¼ inches wide, and I'm kind of seeing what size might look good for the grass. And then I'm taking a look at all my grasses and kind of picking one here. And I'm going to pick this nice little kind of simple hillside here. And then we can layer that onto this piece to create a fun grassy border to be adding into this card. I trimmed it down to be a good size to kind of layer in this window, and now we're going to be doing some ink blending on this piece. And so I'm going to be using some celery stick ink and of course some freshly cut grass because we're doing grass here. And so I like to start with the celery stick. I'm going to pick it up with my brush, start on my mat here. This is a glass mat, and then we're going to go ahead and bring it on to our white cardstock. And so I'm going to bring this whole thing with the lighter color of green first, and then I can go and switch into the darker color of green. And I'm going to have the darker color of green at the top, and it's going to kind of fade into this lighter green at the bottom. Then I always like to add some splatters for texture. So what I'm going to do is take my ink pad here. I'm going to smear it onto this mat. This is the darker of the greens. And then I'm just going to spray some water and mix it together to create a paint that I'm going to pick up with my paintbrush. And then I can tap the paintbrush to create splatters. And there's something about the splatters to me that, one, it's just really fun to do. And then two, I think it looks so good and it gives the grass a ton of texture. Since we've added this really fun texture to our grass, I thought it would be fun to create a sky with some texture too. So this piece is 5½ by 4¼ which is the same size as our window piece. And here I have my slimline cloudy stencils. We also have a cloudy stencil that's more of a square shape, but these were the ones I happened to be able to find today. And I really like using these ones too because they're nice and big, they're easy to hold. And so I'm using some merman ink and I'm starting on the stencil and then working on to the paper, like on the stencil, off of the stencil and onto the paper. And I'm going between all of the different styles of clouds. So there's poofier clouds, there's bumpier clouds, and I like mixing and matching them so each one is just a little bit different. I'm using a really, really light hand so that this is a nice subtle sky that's going to be in the background. I'm also going to be creating some splatters for this too, just like we did for the grass. So again, I'm smearing that merman ink, I'm adding some water, I'm mixing it up, and then I'm going and tapping my paintbrush to create splatters all along this background. And that's looking so pretty. I'm going to put that aside to dry and we're going to start working on the scene that's going to be on this window. So I'm going to be adding this grass here. So I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of the window and then layer the grass right behind that. Then I went ahead and stamped and colored and die cut some images from the Make Lemonade stamp set, which looks so cute. This time we brought in some blues to match the blue of the paper, which I think looks gorgeous. And right now I'm recreating a card by Grace. So thank you so much, Grace. Now I'm adding some tape runner to the back of the lemonade stand and I'm going to layer this cute little guy in there. He's going to be selling his lemonade. He's adorable with his little baseball cap. And then I'm just going to layer some more of the cute little elements from the set, like the pitcher and the glass, etc. And I'm just going to kind of cluster some of the images, layer them on behind the lemonade stand, in front of the lemonade stand, and that's going to give us a ton of texture. I'm going to add the little 25 cents a glass sign to the top of the stand and then one of the little lemons to the other side just to add some more fun details. Then I'm going to layer some tape runner behind the grass and start to layer things into the scene. I like to do this because I can kind of layer the window right on top to kind of see exactly how things are going to look super nice. Now I'm going to start layering some more stuff. So I'm adding some of those crates of lemons here, the bag of sugar, etc. And I like that they're tucked behind the grass. I think that looks super cute. And now we're going to start layering some things over the front of the grass too, so that we can add again some more texture. Actually, I'm going to layer one more thing behind the grass here. We're going to add these cute little crates of lemons all stacked up, which I just think looks so adorable. And then now we're going to add our cute little mice to the front here. And these are the guys that are shopping at the lemonade stand, which I think is just adorable. One already has his glass of lemonade, one is waiting, and one's bringing more lemon so they can make even more lemonade. And I'm going to add one more little lemon here so it looks like a lemon fell out of his hands, which I think is really adorable. And now we have this fun little scene going on in the window. And now we're going to add some fun decorations to that using one of my favorite new dyes, which is this lemon vine border. So we went ahead and die cut the vine out of a light green, the lemons, and also the flowers here out of a light pink, and the flower centers too. I also went ahead and die cut the lemons from the lemon border. So there's a lemon vine border and lemon border. The lemon border ones, they're bigger lemons. So I like that they're different and you can mix and match them if you want to. Now, because we did ink blending for our grass and our sky, I wanted these die cuts to feel like they were ink blended. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to take a color of cardstock and then just start with some markers. So here I'm picking a marker that's about the color of the die cut and one that's a little bit lighter than it. I'm doing a darker line and then the lighter line just to blend it out. And you'll see that as the marker dries, it's going to look amazing and give this really cool shaded effect to the different die cut pieces. We're doing that with the flowers as well, and you can see how it's dried. Isn't that so pretty? It's just one swipe of color or even a dark and a light if you want to blend it just a little bit, and it looks amazing. So now I'm going to add some liquid glue to the center of those flowers, and we're going to add these cute little flower centers in there. And then I'm going to take out my trusty white gel pen and add some details. So I'm doing just some lines and dots around one side. So lines on one side and dots on the other, lines on all the flower petals, and then lines on the little leaves as well. And wherever you put the lines, it's going to look amazing. Now, instead of using this as a vine, I'm going to use these as leaves. So I feel like I'm gardening here. I'm kind of pruning my plant here, and we're just going to cut off all these little leaves, and we're going to be layering them behind our lemons. And this is another fun way to use this die and to get a different look out of it. And so now that we have all these little pieces, we're going to be layering this to the top of the frame. And I loved how Tammy did this on her card, and it was so much fun to do. So we're taking one of those bigger lemons that comes from the lemon border, and there's another big lemon there. We're adding some little leaves behind and then the cute little flowers in there as well. And you'll see that I'm kind of layering some leaves so that they kind of frame the arch of this window, which I think looks really pretty. Now we're going to add one of those little smaller lemons in there, and I'm going to add some more leaves all around. And there's something about this little frame to the top of the window that I think looks so pretty. Now here is the Make Lemonade add-on, which has some super cute phrases in it. And so we're going to be using the phrase that says, "Life is sweeter with you," which is so sweet. And I'm going to be taking one of these stitched banners here, and I'm going to die cut that from some white cardstock, and we're going to be stamping in some dough ink, which I really like because this is a really soft card. And so by using the brown ink for the sentiment, I feel like it really blends in. So we're going to stamp that onto that banner. And then we can go ahead and start to layer this onto the bottom of the card. So we're going to add some tape runner onto this, and then we're going to layer the banner there, and then we're going to take those extra leaves and lemon pieces that we have, and we're going to layer them around the banner. I'm layering some leaves behind those little lemons that are part of the lemon vine border, and then I'm just going to tuck it right behind the banner. And doesn't that look so cute? So we're going to add some more leaves and then the lemon, and we're going to tuck that behind as well. And that is looking adorable. So I think this scene is looking really good. And now it's time to make the shaker. And the first thing we need to do to make a shaker is to make this into a window. And so we're going to be adding some acetate to the back. And so I'm just using some 1/8 inch double-sided tape here. I wanted some nice strong tape to hold that acetate in place. And so I'm just going around the edges of the frame, but also over some of the images too, just to make sure that it's nice and secure. Then we can go ahead and peel up the liner paper, and then I've gone ahead and trimmed a piece of acetate that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're just going to layer that to the back, and that is making our window for this shaker. Now that we have our window, we have to start working on the shaker part here. So we're going to flip this window over, and we're going to be using our foam strips to create like the well for our shaker. And we're going to be doubling up the foam strips. So I put one down and I'm putting another one on top. And this is one of the tricks to really getting the shaker to move, is to give this double height. Your pieces are really going to move around in a nice way. So I'm giving the double height here, and really the shaker's only going to show through that rounded window part. So I'm kind of creating like a little square around that part, again with double foam all around. And then I'm adding some double foam to the bottom as well, because that's just going to make sure we can like have some nice height that matches the rest of the shaker pieces. But the shaker pieces are really going to move in the center. Next, I'm going to show you some of Rebecca's tips for making a really good moving shaker. And what she uses is one of these old static removing pouches. Now there's those brushes, but this is like the old style here. You could also empty out your brush and just add some to it. We're covering this whole base piece. That's the base of the shaker. We're covering the whole thing, and then we're just tapping this and having a little bit of that chalk end up in the shaker well, just the teeniest amount. Then I'm also going to take one of these brushes here and just go along the inside edge of these little foam pieces to make sure there is no stickiness. This is removing static and removing stickiness, but I'm also making sure that I don't scratch the acetate window with that brush. Now, this is some more of these new tiny treasures. We have the lemon pieces, and we also have this sunshine mix of sequins with all of these really pretty yellow sequins. So I'm going to add some of these in here, and then I'm going to add some of these cute little lemon clay pieces. And this is so much fun. Like I felt like I was cooking almost, like I'm adding all these fun little things. I'm also going to take out some chunky glitter here, which I really like for adding a little bit of sparkle. And I'm just taking a little pinch of that and adding those in there. And then here we have some more tiny treasures. These are both iridescent and clear sequins, and I decided to get some of the iridescent ones and add those. And I have to admit, I was so excited about making this shaker, I probably added too many shaker pieces, but it still looks really cool. So I added more lemon. I couldn't stop. I added more lemon pieces in there. Finally, I got myself to stop adding cute things into this shaker. And now I can start peeling up the liner paper on all of those foam pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the base and bring the base to it like this. And again, this is a really great way to create a shaker that really moves around where the pieces don't get stuck, you know? And now we can flip it over and look at that. Here you'll see that I clearly added way too many shaker bits, but I still think it looks really fun. Now this is a standard card base. It's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're just going to add some tape runner to this so that we can layer our whole shaker mechanism on top of this card base. And now this card is all done, and it's so much fun. I love the scene so much. I love that we use that arch to create this really cute, unique window shaker piece. I love the little lemon pieces. I love the sunshine sequins, the iridescent sequins. It is just so much fun. And you can see by doing Rebecca's tricks on shakers, it just made the shaker work so well, and all the pieces really move around. So there you can see just how they bounce around in the card, and they look absolutely amazing. And I love the idea of all of those lemons floating behind this lemonade stand. It just makes me smile. And next up, Shari is going to create the cutest card that you guys are just going to love. So take it away, Shari.
So for this card, I'm going to use the cute little Make Lemonade mice, but I'm not going to use the lemonade stand for this one. I am also using the lemon border, which you can see here. I've cut that from some sunflower cardstock and the little rind wheels from speckled eggshell. And I'm actually going to start with my lemon border. And I thought I would add a little bit of shading to this before I glue on those white pieces. So I'm actually using some carrot ink, which I know is an orange, but it works great on this yellow to add that bit of shading. It's still a bright color, but a little darker, and it doesn't look quite as dingy as number 2 pencil does, even though I know that is a yellow color. So I'm just going in with a small blending brush and adding a little bit of shading right along the bottom of this border. Then I can go in with my liquid glue, and I'm just tapping it with my finger because these are very delicate little pieces, and that will keep me from having too much glue that might kind of squish out on the sides. And I'm adding the little rinds to each of these. Now, there is little guidelines that are imprinted when you die cut this border that show you exactly where to line this little wheel up so that the little slices of lemon show through the openings. And I'll put this last one on here, just making sure it's lined up with the little etched lines on there. And then my lemon border is ready to put on the card whenever I'm ready. To create a little focal panel for my stamped images, I'm using the second largest postage rectangle stackable and the coordinating stencil to mask off that outer edge. So we're going to have a white frame around this, and then I can ink inside that stitch line. I'm starting out with some merman ink to start with, and I'm just pulling that down from the top towards the bottom. Now I'm not going to completely fill all this. I'm going to leave it white at the bottom so that when I layer my lemon border at the bottom of this, I can have white below the lemons and that sky color above. And I decided to add a little bit more to kind of pull it down a little bit more. Then I'm going to switch over to peacock ink, which is a little bit darker shade of this aqua, and add a little bit of darkness on the top and around the edges. So I'm creating kind of an ombre sky with dark at the top, light at the bottom, going to white below my border. And then when I pull the stencil away, because it masks the outside edge, I'm going to have that nice white postage border all the way around my panel. So I will set those pieces aside and I'm pulling out the new Giddy for Gingham 6x6 petite paper pack. And I'm going to pull out one of these pretty ginghams to go around the outside edge of my card. And I decided to go with the pink. I'm going to trim this out with the largest stitch rectangle stackable, and I'm just lining this up to make sure that my plaid is nice and centered. I like it to look nice and even. And now I have a perfectly cut stitch rectangle to layer behind my postage rectangle. So I will go ahead and add some adhesive all over the back of this gingham panel and layer this onto my card base. Now this card base, as you can see, was a little bit wider. I had a piece of cardstock that was cut a little too wide, but I'm just going to trim that off with my long scissors. So I am going to pop up this rectangle panel and then my lemons are going to cross over it. So I wanted to make sure that the parts that overhang off the side were nice and supported. So I decided to layer a second piece behind it so it was a little more sturdy. And then we'll trim this off once we add it to the card. I am also going to add some little white pin details just for some little highlights on the whole lemons. Now I'm pulling out my twine. I'm using green. I thought that went really well with the lemons because I don't have any greenery on the lemon border itself. And I'm just wrapping it around 3 times and making sure that I'm tying my bow far enough to the left so that it kind of peeks out beside my postage rectangle. Then I'll just trim off those extra ends of the tails. And I've already added some foam tape all over the back of this panel. I'll just pop that right into the center, making sure that my twine is nice and taut and where I want it to be, because once I put this foam tape on there, it's going to hold it in place. Then I can add my lemon border at the bottom, and I just need to add some foam squares to those lemons that come off the side of that postage rectangle. I'll add liquid glue to the ones that are going to touch it. And then I'll just flip this over, and this kind of becomes the base for my little mice to stand on. I'm just making sure it's centered and straight, and then I can take my scissors and trim off the lemons that overhang the sides of the card. So now I'm ready to add my little mice. So I have 2 of the little mice and the little crate of lemons. I love this little mouse that's carrying the lemons. I just think it's so cute. So I've popped up the mouse. I'm going to glue the crate of lemons right to the background. I'm kind of tucking it behind that lemon border. And then I will also add some foam squares to my other little mouse so that he is popped up as well. So I have this cute kind of tiny little mouse scene down here on the lemon border. I decided to add some clouds. I cut these from mist cardstock. I'm actually only going to use a big one and a small one. And I'm using the sentiment that says "Squeeze the Day" from the Make Lemonade add-on stamp set. And I am just going to stamp this on to some blush cardstock. So I have a little piece of blush cardstock here, so it's that pale pink. Stamping that right in the center, and then I will use a sentiment banner to cut this out. So I've kind of put it to where the sentiment is towards the left, and I will run this through my die cut machine, and then I will shift the die over and cut off the right side. So I'm making a custom length sentiment banner. So now I have a little banner that fits that sentiment perfectly. That's going to go right there in the center, and I'm going to add some foam strips to this so it is popped up off the background as well. So I'm adding my sentiment first so that I can then put my clouds around the sentiment. And I decided to add one big cloud up here that goes off and then one small cloud. I thought about the second small cloud but decided not to. And then I just took whatever ink was left on my brush and added a little bit of shading to the bottom of the cloud to just kind of define that edge a little bit and make it stand out some. I will add some foam squares where this big cloud goes off of the panel and add a little bit of liquid glue where it touches. And then for the little cloud, I just used liquid glue. There's not enough of it hanging off the side, and I also have that twine there, so I did not worry about a foam square on that small cloud. Now to finish off my card with some embellishments, I'm using the new Tiny Treasures Iridescent Sequin Mix and Sunshine Sequin Mix. And I'm also using some of the new lemon clay pieces. I just think these are really fun to sprinkle around. So I have some of the yellow ones, some of the iridescent ones, and then I kept my lemons to the bottom down here. And I'm just figuring out the placement before I go back through and pick things up and drop them back in place with a little bit of liquid glue. And then I also felt like it needed a little pop of color in here in this empty space, so my go-to is some little guava die-cut hearts, and I thought those worked perfectly between the mice. So I'm just adding two different sizes. I have a small and a medium cut with the hearts and stars skinny tag die, and that is the perfect place to add a little bit of glitter and also to the tops of the clouds. And then here is my finished Squeeze the Day card with those cute little mice. I love that lemon border. It's so fun. And that pink background reminds me of pink lemonade.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I love this card so much. It is so cute, and I love how they're standing on that lemon border. It's just adorable. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team, and this one by Tammy is so much fun. I love how she used the word lemons with the little lemon as the O. This card by Lynette is so sweet. I love that lemon border on the side and how she used the scripty smile at the top. Audrey's card is so gorgeous, and I love how she stenciled the most perfect background for this cute scene. And then this card by Mindy is so fun. The rainbow summer letters just make me smile, and I am ready for summer when I look at this card. Megan created such a beautiful soft look, and it just makes me smile, and I love how she turned it into some pink lemonade. And then this card by Elise is so much fun, and I love how she brought our heart tree in and she turned it into a lemon tree. Isn't that so fun? Here's the card by Grace that inspired us to make ours today, and I just love those little lemon shaker pieces. They are so adorable with this set. It just makes me smile. And next up, we have a gorgeous card by Yanea that is also a shaker, and I love how she brought in all of that green color and how she has the circle highlighting her scene. And there you can see all those fun little sequins and lemon shaker pieces moving all behind her scene. And then this card by Letitia is so gorgeous. I love how she layered the lemon vine borders. I can't wait to make one just like it. So we cannot wait to see all of your lemonade themed cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day.
Bye.